So welcome everybody, it is Monday night, we are back racing at SARCO. Vintage touring cars, a brand new season that is the the Camaro versus the Ferrari in the vintage touring car. You can see in the commentary box I have Johan VDV in his very Ferrari shirt. Johan, I'm presuming you're driving the Ferrari?
Correct.
Awesome. And in his virtual commentary box, Stephen Koenig is back with us, having taken a little bit of a break due to his health, but it's good to see that he is in high spirits. He is smiling. He did miss the qualifiers, but we are here. Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, and I can't wait for it. And since we have got the Americans versus the Italians, buonasera, and also to our one and only person who does race in Australia, good morning, mate. It's a bit early for you.
There are a few of them. Now, Johan's done one of these, and I was hitting a bit of a side view. But everyone, the reason we started just a little bit earlier this evening is because we had to round off our Porsche Euro Cup for last season, and we did announce our winners, but we did have the Sim Stuff Racing prize giveaway, and within that giveaway I do have our lucky names of all the drivers that were in there. You can see there's a few little pieces inside of here. So we will be drawing the winners of not only the button box, but the mag shift that have been developed by Johan VDV and his Sim Stuff Racing. So without further ado, while Johan is playing around with his camera, Johan, are you ready for us? Because I'd like to hand it over to you.
Hang on.
I am.
We've got one thing. Peter Hardeman was first on YouTube, and literally at the same time, Brandon DeSantos dropped a comment on Facebook. So literally, they came in at the exact same time. So we got a bit of a tie-in between there as well. So thank you for Facebook and for YouTube. Nice to see you guys there.
Hold on. Let me just go to I want to go check the multi-stream. To see. Okay, it hasn't refreshed, so unfortunately I can't claim a winner because we can't have two winners. There has to be a winner.
I have got them both open on my screen. As we went live on Facebook and YouTube, both hit the comment section. It was orchestrated. It is totally orchestrated. I do feel that there is a bit of foul play involved because of the orchestration. But let's get to the main reason why we're here.
I'm sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty here. Am I good?
We're not seeing you. We have a very
I'm not seeing
red screen.
Either. I don't know what's going on.
It's fine. I think...
Okay, I'll tell you what, Johan, take it away. Sim Stuff Racing. What is Sim Stuff Racing about, and what do you have on offer?
Man, I've been tinkering with the button box concept for quite a while, and it's not easy for to get all the electronics sorted and whatnot for about 2 years, and then towards the end of last year or middle last year, it became evident that there would be a sort of scope for something of this sort of magnitude, or so we started. I started sort of looking at sort of refining it a bit, looking at coding with Arduino sort of electronics as your sort of PCB.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys can see me because I can't see myself at the moment.
Yeah, so it does look like your hand is in front of the screen, so unfortunately we cannot see you.
Okay, but perhaps you can, when the video runs that you've done, they'll be able to see the box.
Okay, I'll tell you what, let's just run that quickly, Johan. So you've got 37 seconds to possibly just go out and come back in. So guys, while we're waiting for Johan to see whether he could get back in, let's run this for you, and then let those comments go. We want to know what you think. Let's have a look. Hello, Mr. Video, please play. Okay, it should be playing now. No.
So we've got Brandon Hills, Philip Van Zale, Brandon Santos busy laughing. Guys, thank you very much. I know we don't show Facebook too much love.
There we go. There we go. We're in the business.
Woo!
I don't know what's going on. Here we go.
So guys, let us know what you think about that. Those are the two max shifts that are going to be given away, as well as that Sim Stuff Racing button box.
Very jealous of the winners, I can say.
We have you back there, Johan. Awesome. So guys, I don't know if you have any questions for Johan. You can drop them on the... there we go. You can see Johan putting up the actual box. And once the winners are announced, they will be sent directly to you. So that is
Here's the box.
The button box and the mag shift ready to go.
The mag shift.
To a G29, is that correct, Johan?
We're focusing on G29 as our sort of main peripheral at the moment, because it seems to be the sort of mainstream first sort of option that the guys buy. And if I can just add that this little thing makes a huge difference to the sort of tactile feel of your shifters. It avoids double shifting, and it's so basic and simple to add on to your rig. Add-on that just sits behind your pedal shifts, and it does. I spoke to a guy the other day that tested one for me, and he says that every time he walks away from his rig and he comes and he sits back down, he realizes if that first shift, he goes, "Oh, I've got one," and it's so good. But you get used to it as you go along. And but he says every time he sits back down or he takes a break and he gets back to the rig, it reminds him that it's there, and it's something that's already good value for money, but it is definitely an improvement at a good price. So we'll be posting all of those things shortly. But yeah, this is definitely something to consider.
Am I correct that as a newbie, if you go and purchase a G29 steering wheel and you've got your warranty and you're worried about it, you can actually get the mag shifter to clip on, and it's no external modification to the steering, so it doesn't void the warranty in that regard? Am I right? There's no external modification. It's just a clip that goes on behind the steering.
More importantly, yeah, it's literally just it's got two little bolts that go through the middle, if you can see there.
Yep.
In here, and they literally just clamp onto the hub behind your pedal shift or your pedal shifters. The magnets over here latch onto the pedals, and they effectively, what happens is when you pull the pedal, the magnets immediately pull it back. It's neodymium magnets, what they call also earth magnets, which makes them, they never lose their strength. They're super strong, and it literally just pulls the shifter back away from you, back towards its resting position, and it just literally sits on the back of the hub or the shaft where your wheel goes into the base. And it's a full-on external clamp on with no internal sort of problems. There's no way it can void a warranty. So yeah, it's a good place to start to add proper sort of functional value at decent costing. It's definitely the first thing I would go for if I were to sort of add anything to my room.
Sorry.
The button box, also USBs into the PlayStation, no external power. So
absolutely brilliant. So let's get into the fun part.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the button box it's also, there's no external power on it. We go with the Arduino power from the PlayStation, like any other sort of USB port would, or like your controller or any other sort of thing. So there's no additional power inputs that go into it. We didn't go with lighting or any sort of funny things where you have to add a power source to the Arduino, because we don't want to take any risks with that. We kept it simple. The coding on there is sort of normal standard stuff, and it works and functions beautifully. So I'm very happy to put this out there with my name and face to it. It's actually super exciting. So yeah, thanks for SARCO for the opportunity.
Only a pleasure.
I'm very happy, guys.
So guys, it is now time. We have 5 minutes before we got to go into the qualifying. So the first name pulled out of the Magic Cup, which is from my F400 Gold League, second place at V-Town.
No bragging there, just saying. Completely humble.
I think that was the day I beat Peter Heidemann.
Oh, no, shots fired.
Okay, guys, let's do this. Okay, so sorry, I can see everyone saying hurry up. The first winner of the first set of the back strips is Slot Beat, you beauty!
Oh, Scallop Beat, congratulations.
No.
Oh, you can't see the bloody light. So, okay, well done, Slot Pete. And how crazy is that? That they are going to rip him off and he's got a prize and I don't. Okay, the second set. The second set goes to Mr. Bond. You're up and running.
Oh, Adrian.
Shake it.
Mr. Bond. Congratulations.
Mr. Bond. So we've got Sly Pete and Mr. Bond as the winners.
And
then
the
last
next one is for the button box.
The big one. Give it a bit of a blow. Tiny the sex tape. And the winner is Ryan the Side 793.
No ways.
And Sarge actually joined us because he's going to be directing
the
race. But Sarge, you are the winner
there you
of
go.
our button box. Congratulations.
Oh my word, that's insane.
Awesome.
How do you feel,
You're
Ryan?
in there.
Completely
For an
shocked.
interview. He's right on it.
Oh my word.
Well,
guys,
if you look at the
thank you
screen,
very
that's
much.
what you want.
So thank you very much,
Yeah,
guys.
that's
We are going to be heading off to the first round of the vintage touring cars. To Johan and Some Stuff Racing, thank you so much for your support in terms of the series.
Thank you, Dylan. Thanks to SARCO.
Absolutely fantastic, and we just wish you everything of the best. But don't forget, us G29 boys is a lot, but there's also us with some T300s there.
Yes, we're looking at launching a sort of G29 range towards the end of February, officially launching, and then from there we will be looking at the T300s, focusing on Logitech to just get off the ground, and then we'll take it from there.
100%. Johan, how do guys get hold of you? Well, we got
They can contact me for the moment just via WhatsApp. My number's in the video. It's I mean, most of the guys know how to get hold of me here. But in the video clip, my number's there. I don't know if you added it to the comments or to the...
we're under a little bit of pressure to get it going, but what I'll do is that once it's gone up, so from tomorrow I'll just update and I'll put your details in there.
And everybody that orders through SARCO using a SARCO for you order code will get it.
We'll get a
10% discount.
That is fantastic.
Woohoo!
Thank you very much.
Order code.
I think Thrustmaster needs to fix their F1 steering wheel.
Don't worry, my friend. Do not worry. I have a GT wheel already printed. I am doing Formula 1 wheels. They will all be coming with the launch at the end of February. So the R&D's been heavy and lots of taxing hours. But we've already printed a GT style wheel, making a few adjustments. But yeah, that's all in the pipeline. So it'll all be coming at. So yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. I do have to jump
the
off.
Logitech guys.
The guys are just waiting for me in the lobby so that we can get cracking. But Stephen, I'll see you on the other side, and welcome Janneman, who's going to be joining Stephen Koenig in the commentary box this evening. We did try and have Janneman last week, and then unfortunately I ran out of power. So Janneman, this is once again your time to shine. And then we have Brian, the winner of the button box, who will be the director this evening. So, guys, thank you very much. And we'll see you.
I joined the stream just at the right time.
Cheers.
Guys, we'll see you on back.
All right, Dylan, if you'll be able to share your screen for me, and we're going to be heading into it, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is the vintage touring cars, the SARCO GTA. It is all about the mega factories taking each other on. It is the Chevrolet versus the Ferrari, and this is absolutely tight, iconic cars that are going to be going head to head with one another. We're starting off with our fastest tier. If you watched it during our qualifying, we had our alpha tier, getting our alpha tier, and the times were so close to one another, it was frightening. But we're in for a great event, a great bit of fun, and let's see who's going to get it. We've got a couple of teams looking around, but two teams that's kind of edging it on a bit is the Green Mumbers versus Red Mumbers, who are helping but not helping each other at the same way. We've got Racing Boots 2, NASCOM, Sim Stuff Racing 1.1, Racing Boots, welcome back, Rockstars, Rough Riders, and Silverback Racing are in our alpha tier. Really looking forward to seeing it. We're just waiting for Dylan to actually bring up the view for us as soon as he gets into the game. Okay, should have the view coming up now. Dylan, if you can hear us, buddy, you mind sharing the screen?
Yeah, I can. I've just got myself very confused here because that's the screen that is there, but we need to share this and then at least...
You got yourself confuzzled.
I do indeed. I do indeed.
But ladies and gentlemen, it is fantastic to be back here with SARCO. See Brandon is saying congratulations for the prizes. And we've also got Tyler Scott, Lewis Lutz, Tyler Fisher, Peter Heidemann saying go Horn Dog. So a bit of excitement going there as well. So great to see the guys all getting support, getting ready to have a bit of fun. And I think we're in for a great bit of racing. Monday night, what a way to kick off this great week as we get ready.
There you go, Stephen. You should have it. And I will see you on the other side.
Good luck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who's ready? Alpha tier to go out for race number 1 of the vintage cars. I gotta say, I'm very excited to see the battle between the Chevrolet and Ferrari. Now, remember, how this works is they didn't get to quite pick the cars. The cars just get picked for the drivers. So they got to get used to every single one of the cars. And so they got to play around between the Ferrari and Chev. They got to get themselves sorted out to make sure they can drive those correctly. Tyler Fisher saying, Horn Dog sounds like food. Well, he's looking to challenge something, and he's going to be going straight for the first place. The Horn Dog is none other than Adrian Horn, who's been racing for quite some time. Real world racer, been driving Formula 4s, came in Formula Vs a very, very long time ago. And absolutely amazing driver. Dylan, you need to charge your PS4 controller, says Ross Whitehead. Well, that would be an idea. Because it seems like Dylan's not used to charging stuff too well. But guys, in the chat, I want to know, who do you think is going to do it? Which vehicles do you think are going to take a top between the mighty Chevrolet or the mighty Ferrari?
Okay, guys, are you able to hear me? Okay, I'm good to go. My package is in my pants, yes. Oh. Yes, it is, yeah, thank you. It was more than I could handle. Tired of your sex tape. Thank you. Well done, Adrian. You're correct. No, we'll do a very similar thing what we did for Thursday, Craig. Ja. Oh, wanneer jy sê ietsie wat nie eenvoudig is, if that was the right word. Ja, daar vat hy. Guys, just remember we're code coconuts. Hi, Gerard. Is somebody able to just give him a call? Because if we don't go within the next like 2 minutes, we're going to already start running late. I just don't have my phone with me. Okay, Tyler, from next week Monday, just jump in the Discord with me and I'll show you all the things that I do to get to the point for a stream. Fuck. And we started 20 minutes earlier. Okay, cool. I'm happy for you to come help. Okay, 2 minutes and we have to start, eh? Okay, cool. Unlucky. Flip, man. Lekker, guys. Yes, it's been a while since I've had nerves like this, eh? That's sugar diabetes kicking in me, Craig. I always hoped it would be me being on the job. Not a bunch of Easter eggs. Touché. Nice one. It works clearly. Come on, let me out, thank you. I know, just being that asshole. Thank you, one dog. Yo, Morris, we got a chain building up behind us. My jakes! Ah! Good luck, guys. Remember, marks off, please.
Great racing, Dylan.
Stephen,
Great racing, Dylan. But we've got some news for you.
what is that?
Yanaman, would you like to give him the... Go for it.
Well, I'm just gonna say it. Our mics were muted.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So some of the comments that we have got was they enjoy the sound of your Thrustmaster. Looks brilliant. But well done goes to Jakes for getting the win ahead of Folder by an absolute next to nothing. It looks like we have got commentary back. So guys, big thank you, Dylan, to get our commentary back for heat number 2. And while we had a little bit of downtime, we were enjoying some of the action and coming from it as well. Yanaman, I mean, absolutely close. Penalties came into play, and it looked like Folder had it until he scored a 2-second penalty, which took him out the running. But hard fought to the end.
Absolutely.
What do you think about it?
I mean, we were sitting that whole last lap checking that gap with the penalties in mind and knowing what gap he had to pull. And at the end, he just did not make it by, I think, less than 0.1 of a second. Yeah.
And then, let's get to the nitty-gritty here. Dylan, on the start line, you decided that you wanted to go mowing the grass on the start. What happened, buddy? We just saw a green number heading back into its natural habitat.
Unfortunately, I did not choose to do that. I was helped on my way. So we'll see what happens in the replay to see who that was. But it was uncanny. And then I was going around trying to get past Andrew Horn. Had a little move in to pretend that I was going to have a little look. And then went the other way. He lost control, and I thought I'd be able to sneak on the inside and hit me again. So I'm hoping to have a much better race this time round.
Oh, Brandon Santos, we are back. All sound was muted. Yep, no racing sound, and unfortunately, you couldn't hear Yanaman's beautiful voice.
Yeah,
and
guys, what happened is I turned off the sound so that I wouldn't hear it coming through, and I muted the entire thing. So just let us know that you can hear the sound coming through. That would be fantastic.
I've just heard we're coming through loud and clear on Facebook and on YouTube. And Bad Bull saying, yeah, Dylan, what happened? Lawn care. So, yeah, we just found out a bit of lawn care there. Dylan is a great gardener. You can get hold of him on SARCO.
No, you cannot.
But I am looking forward to heat number 2. Now, heat number 2, we're taking the top 6 and we're reversing them. So, Jakes is all the way in 6th place. 5th place is Folder. So, this is going to be exciting. And, Yanaman, you have to give us a bit of an insight. You've been in a you've been in the predicament where the grid's reversed on you. And it must mess with you mentally. Now that you finished up in first, now you're going to fight your way through to get to the top. What goes through the mind at that point?
Let's first start with the formation lap. I mean, now the game throws you into position and you need to get into the correct position. So that first lap, before you can settle down, you first need to jockey for position and get into the correct position. Now you've just finished the first race first. Now you're all of a sudden in 6th position. It does tend to play on the mind a bit. And the lucky one, obviously, in 6th position is now on pole position. And it's a rolling start this time. It's not a standing start. So it's not that easy to get the jump at the start on the person in front of you necessarily.
Absolutely. And see, Dylan still got his mic open. So unfortunately, we're going to... Dylan, if you can hear us, bud, your microphone is still live. I don't think he can hear us at this point. War Machine saying, I'm offended. Camaro over Mustang. Yep. The Mustang was just too much for the Ferrari. America just got too much over the Italians in that regard. But very, very close racing, as we saw. And it was literally neck and neck. I mean, the Ferrari was very nimble, but just couldn't beat out the Camaro's sheer brute force power when it came down to it. So what they're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is they're going to have a formation lap where they're going to swap around the positions, get all into position, get themselves reorganized on the circuit, and get going once again. Vaughan Hill's looking to make an impact. Now, we also saw quite a few cars losing it and taking on some severe damage during the race as well. We noticed Tyler Scott missing his entire bonnet for advanced cooling and weight reduction.
Is known for that type of thing. I mean, in the real world, he once drove with his boot open, so...
That is active aero downforce. Let's get this one right.
He's a master of that kind of thing.
Race alternate, just altering the car on the go to get as much performance out of it. Is that what you're saying?
But now that I'm thinking about it, is active aero actually legal still?
Depends where you are. Seems like in SARCO, that is okay. War Machine saying, you work for the Ford Motor Company, so very sorry about that. I know you're probably nose to the grindstone. And Henry Ford, many Henry Fords will be telling you to turn off all the machines and go walk home if you do not beat out any of the Ferraris, as we've seen in the old Le Mans. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we're lining up on the grid, it is exciting. Now, Janneman, I've got to ask, who do you think is going to get this heading up for the race? Do you think that it is going to be the Ferrari, or do you think it's going to be the Camaro that's going to take the win? It is Jakes versus Folders. Now, Folders in second place, finished in second, now he's starting in fifth, so I think if he can hold Jakes behind him, we saw towards the end, he was able to hold Jakes behind him and was able to keep on going. So I do think Folder does have the upper hand.
Yeah, but also remember that we saw that the Ferrari is not that happy through that last two corners. So the brute force of the Camaro can come into play on the pit straight as well. And looking at the gap, they finished first and second with over the rest of the field. I think it's going to be between Folder and Jakes for the win of the second race.
Agreed. And War Machine, we understand no game audio. It seems like Dylan hasn't unmuted desktop audio. We sorry for the technical difficulties. We are still sorting out. And
it's the first race of the season.
It's the first race. Technical difficulties. We're getting it sorted out. Don't worry. There is more to come to sorting this whole place out. Jakes is quick. Don't get me wrong. He is incredibly quick.
I mean, I've raced against him a lot, and, yes, he's quick. Make no mistake about it.
Jakes does not like pressure. That's what we have seen. He will keep on going until he spots someone in that rearview mirror, or he has to push hard, and little mistakes start to happen. He gets a little bit overexcited, and we've seen that more than once as they're heading towards the line, getting ready to rock and roll for the race. Lights on, and lights off. Away they go. Round heat number 2, and Lama off to a very, very fast start, trying to work his way up through the grid. You can see Jakes also looking around behind him. Folder looking to get past as early as possible. Dives up the inside, gets a little bit unsettled. Jakes also trying to keep on going, but gets very unsettled, and Folder has now put a bit of a space between him. Lima, unfortunately, or Lima, having a bit of a rough time there. Marius powering his way through. He's lying in third place, and he's going after Gavin and putting the pressure on as much as possible. as he's trying to stomp his way around. But Folder is right behind him now. Folder is the quicker driver here, trying to look on the inside, but Marius is not going to give way. He's going to really push as hard as he can to just keep on. And you can see how much they're really working with the cars. Folder goes out a little bit wide in the rear. Jake's immediately on the back of him. Side-by-side action between Jakes and Folder. But Jakes gets caught up behind Marius. Loses a bit of time. Oh! Gav goes off. And Marius takes second place. Folder diving up. So, unfortunately, oh, what a blow there. And now Gav having to try and work to get by. Gav holding that first place and absolutely doing everything he can. But Jakes is definitely a snake on a chain at this point, as he is looking to try and get past any which way possible. Green Mamba Fever looking to come into play. But we'll have to see. Brandon saying no game sound, but at least we have commentary. Yep, glad to be back. But Vaughan Hill's also looking to make a bit of an impact here. He's trying to keep on going. Nice full grid of 16 cars. Gentlemen, what do you think about this?
Absolutely magnificent racing. I mean, check the two that finished first and second in the first heat, already in second and fourth place. I'm sure it's not going to be long before we see them out in the front. You were talking earlier about Jakes being under pressure. But the other way around is also true. To have Jakes behind you is certainly not something that you would always want. That's where the Mamba Fever comes into play. So at this stage, let's see what will happen with just over 15 minutes to go. Still a long way to go in the race, though.
Hills is busy pushing as hard as he can, looking to go 3 wide, though. Not going to be able to do it. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh bang, no. Crash thread. And it looks like Ash and Hills, unfortunately, biting the dust into the corner.
Unfortunately for Ashley, that's the second race in a row.
Oh, absolutely frightening to see it. Not what he wanted. And Hills trying to keep on going. Dylan lying into 8th place. Seems to be struggling a little bit with the Camaro, trying to get it up and going. And really just working as hard as he can. But Lama trying to keep him going, but Lima has got it knuckled down at this point with a bit of Mamba Fever. V-Dub right behind him, putting pressure on, does go out a little bit wide, losing a bit of time there, and he will have to just try keep on going. These drivers are pushing as hard as they can. Dylan tries to outbrake, but you can see having to really work hard, and you can see how the Camaro on the brakes actually is unsteady, trying to stop the car is near darn impossible. But Dylan getting side by side, gets past Lima, hard on the brakes. But there we go, brute force horsepower coming in the old American way.
Stephen, you can see that a couple of the guys are still, I wouldn't say struggling with the car, but they're still learning with the car. Sure, we've got people like Jakes and Folder out in the front, but look at your quick drivers like Dylan, Gerard, even Andrew Horn. They still learning this car and maybe still struggling. So maybe they'll become quicker as the season evolves, you think?
Well, I think they're going to be much, much quicker. But commentator curse kicked in there as Andrew Horn lost the tail end of the car and went for a ball at short. So, gentlemen, welcome to the commentary box. He even managed to get the commentary curse kicked in there.
Well, and, Andrew Horn has been a long time nemesis of mine. We had some great racing together, back in the day. And Andrew is a brilliant racer as well. So apologies, Andrew, but he's beaten me enough, I would say.
Gav is pushing to try and get onto the back of Folder. He is quite a bit behind. Marius is just hunting him down. Marius going all over the show, getting out of shape there and having to try and get himself all sorted out. Gav has got a bit of breathing room. Jakes is now behind him. So this is interesting. Now Folder is ahead. Gav has got a penalty and is in second place. Jakes is in third place, but has to get past Gav. And Marius is hunting down Jakes with an absolute vengeance. So Is this going to be enough? If Jakes finishes third or less, that means he needs to go to Folder. But, and this is the real big but here, Folder cannot make a mistake, and Gav has to be able to hold that position the whole way through.
And Jakes can also not afford to let Folder get out in front, as I see he's already pulling out a bit of a gap there.
Absolutely, as each of these drivers really trying to stomp around the circuit as fast as they can, pushing the cars to the limit, and you can see trying to use as much of the circuit as possible. Brandon Santos is following and making dead sure that his drivers can get out to the top, and War Machine and Bad Bull going and putting in some support there. So Alan Noah, Bad Bull, good morning, mate. Hopefully you had a cup of coffee as well before you get yourself up and going. Jake's getting it very sideways, trying to keep it all together, and he's got Marius hunting him down as well. So Marius now looking to go on the outside. Jake's having to go very, very defensive, and this is turning into quite a battle here. The Americans cannot catch up to the Italian.
But still, there's 3 Camaros in the top 4.
Yep, but it seems like the Italian stallion, as soon as it gets a bit of breathing room, will be able to run. Marius tries to go on the inside of Jake's, unable to pull it off. Jake's getting into the toe, and you can just see the battle going on. They're really trying to hunt each other down here, and look at pushing each other to the limit at this point. Marius, part of Silverback Racing, is wanting to keep on going, and Gav, part of the Racing Butts 2, as looking to power his way through as well. But Green Mamba really having a rough time trying to figure out how on earth is he going to get by. But the Red Mambas is leading the race.
Marius, I think, just ran a bit wide there, and that enabled Jakes to get past him.
So Jake's into second place, but will he be able to make up enough ground heading towards the end? Marius is not giving away, though. Marius is still pushing hard onto the back of Jakes. So now Jakes is having to go defensive, trying to hold him back. Gets a bit sideways there, loses a bit of traction, but is still able to keep on going. He's hunting down the Red Mamba. So are we going to have Red Mamba fever, or are we going to have Green Mamba fever? That is the question when it comes out at the top. Marius and Gav both have penalties. So if they get ahead, they're going to have to be ahead by about a second or more, and that is going to be a real battle. Ross Whitehead saying reset button does exist verboten. Not in this point. Everyone is just battling to keep on going, and you can bid it in the wall, but the guys are treating this like in real racing. You put it in the wall, you gotta give it up, and that's the absolute crazy part. Yeah, Dylan still managing to keep on going, getting a bit sideways, not enjoying the Camaro as much as he loves the Ferrari, and it's all coming into play right here. We got Tyler Scott, still got the bonnet on, and well, Tyler is doing the most American thing in the world and has the American flag on his car. Massive support goes to Tyler. Well done for showing where the car's from. And absolutely giving it everything he's got. Tyler Scott is part of Sim Stuff Racing 1.1 with Adrian Bond. Now he's deciding to go a little bit on the bridge. Oh, we had it, and lost it into the wall. So Tyler losing a lot of time. Jakes is 2.3 seconds. Marius is only 0.3 of a second behind. So we've got Striker, Intrepid Striker saying, go Marius, Jakes is not your friend. That is definite here. And you can see Marius is hunting down Jakes, looking for any way to get by, and is really putting pressure. So I think Jakes is starting to take a look in his rearview mirror. He knows he can't run away from Marius at this point, and has to just, instead of trying to catch up to Folder, he needs to just maintain that second place. And that's where the difficulty comes in. He doesn't want to get slowed up too much. Marius will lose the position to Jakes, but if Marius can get in front, he can possibly force Jakes to make a mistake. You could see just trying to settle that Camaro in and out of the corners is a difficult thing. Johanneman, give us your thoughts here with only 7 minutes to go. Absolutely great driving.
Absolutely great driving. I'm sure Marius knows that he's got the penalty. So, with 7 minutes now, just under 7 minutes to go, surely there comes a point where you start thinking, is it still, will I be able to get past the person in front of me and pull out a second gap? Or will it be better for me to just stay behind him and not take the risk this late in the race?
It is going to be a difficult one. Tyler is saying, can you be my dad? I think that's directed for you, Johanneman. I'm not sure.
No.
I think
I've already got 2 beautiful daughters, and that's more than enough for me.
And they're not looking for husbands. So, Tyler, sorry, you have to wait, bud. Now, absolutely lovely to see the comments going wild here, the support for each of the drivers. And Horndog pulling away from V-Dub, but Lima right on the back of him. So the teammates looking to duke it up between each other for a bit of bragging rights in the pits. And the 2 Ferraris fighting for 11th place at this point. And you can see how hard they're pushing each other. Bit on the dirt, so V-Dub loses time. And that's allowed Lama to dive up the inside, hard on the brakes.
Somebody had a big spin there at the background.
Lima is able to get up. Vaughan Hills lying in 13 spots, trying to now make up a bit of ground. 8.5 seconds. So this is absolutely frightening at this point. Ross Whitehead saying real action is to come in Bravo. That is for sure. Big excitement comes into Bravo tier, considering how close the times were to Alpha. There was literally 0.5 of a second difference between it. Oh, Folder getting
had a big moment there.
Getting some Tokyo drift in the
And
Ferrari.
that has enabled Jakes and them to close up a bit. Gap is now less than a second.
Absolutely, and you can see how hard he's having to really push the car now to just try capture that first place. They might be able to tie it, actually. If Folder can finish him first without getting a penalty, he will tie up the points for the evening. And it's going to be absolutely incredible.
That Ferrari is starting to look very loose at this late stage of the race.
I wonder. Now, we had a chat to Ross earlier. He came in and was talking about the Camaro getting a lot of wear and tear on the rear as time went on. And I think we were discussing how you using the rear to rotate the car as much as possible, but it starts impacting the tires. And I think Folder has reached that point. Tyler Fisher, if you're talking, it's the G29 magnetic shifter and button box. Yes, they are for sale. Hit us up on the SARCO Facebook page, or at the beginning of the video, there's a number to contact the one and only Sim Stuff Racing, Johan VDV, for getting these amazing products. Big thank you to them, to Sim Stuff Racing, for being our primary sponsor for this event. If you wish to get involved with SARCO, hit us up on Facebook, come join our Discord, and also take a look at our actual page, our SARCO page. So on Google, just go and look up SARCO, South African Racing Community Online.
Jakes has lost it.
Jakes has lost the back end, and that's allowed Folder to make up a bit of ground. Marius gets by. Now Marius is on the charge. He has to. This is a big change up. If Marius has a second penalty, he just needs to keep ahead. He's 2 seconds ahead of Jakes. Jakes is starting to make some massive sideways action. Richard Morris saying, "Go, Steven, the whole family is watching." So we got a family watching from Richard Morris.
Got a 4-second penalty.
Oh, okay, never mind. Bang goes that idea. Dylan's got 2 seconds, and Silver's got a second as well. So the guys are really battling on the circuit. Tyron Myberg saying, Tyron saying, he's talking about the kids of. We don't condone the sales of kids. We do say if you leave them on an airplane, they're going to be taken to the circus.
Okay.
Yeah, he's asking if the kids are for sale. I don't think that's going to quite work, Tyler. Wrong country.
Yeah.
Craig is having an absolute good run here. He's got Brandon right behind him. And you can see how those two are starting to duke it out. Craig has been absolutely having a ball in 4th place. And Brandon in 5th place. Now, they've got no penalties on them. And they're really trying to keep on going and try to keep the power going. And they've got Dylan hunting him down. Now, Dylan's got 2 seconds penalty on him as well. So that is going to also make things rather difficult as they go forward. So let's see how it's all going to work out. I'm not sure if it's going to play into their favor. But you can see Craig really trying everything he can. Tries to settle the Camaro. And Brandon is hunting him down. Absolutely amazing. 1 minute to go of the race. And Craig and Brandon duking it out between each other. Ferrari versus Camaro. America versus Italy. Will it be the power of America or the finesse of the Ferrari? Yellowman.
Doesn't look like the Ferrari is making a big impression on that Camaro on the straights. I mean, even in the slipstream, it can't get past. So I think that's where the brute horsepower of that Camaro comes into its own, is on the straights.
That's it. But if they can use the finesse, try and get the Ferrari just to rotate just enough, he might be able to make an impact. And taking a look at our leaderboard, Marius is getting about 2 seconds ahead of Jakes. Jakes has lifted off the throttle a bit. No, Jakes is 3 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Jakes is 3 seconds behind. So
if
Marius
he's not
just has
careful,
to
he's going to lose that 2nd place.
And that is it. We'll have to see as it gets down to a line, but that is absolutely incredible. But the battle here between Craig and Brandon is so close to one another. In the toe, Craig going a little bit wide. You can see Brandon tries going on the inside. Unfortunately, door firmly closed on him. The finesse of the Ferrari has to be used here. There's not enough time. It is down to the wire. Who's it going to be, Craig, or is it going to be Brandon? Craig, hard on the brakes, really throws the car in, gets on the power of the Camaro with its brute force 505 horsepower, beats out Brandon in the Ferrari. Wow, wow, wow. As all the drivers come across the line, Dylan coming up behind them. There's Gav coming across the line. Gavin absolutely really pulling out. And Steven, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause in the Ferrari as side by side with the Horn Dog, but just managing to get by. So absolutely great work. Lima comes across the line. Vaughan Hills really trying to push on the throttle here, really just trying to get away from it. Absolutely incredible. Adrian Bond as well. Great racing from him. And right at the back, Tyler Scott, the All-American, comes across the line. Ladies and gentlemen, and he's got a bonnet. No aerodynamic changes this time, other than a slight ding on the front. But ladies and gentlemen, absolutely incredible. Now it is going on to the Bravo tier. The end of the Alpha tier, now onto the Bravo tier. And let me get this. The Bravo tier is not what you think it is. They are incredibly quick. Coming and actually getting a chance to race with the Bravo tier in ACC last season really showed how fast they can be. As we take a look to our sim stuff racing, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is for sale. The G29 magnetic shifter, beautiful, beautiful craftsmanship done in our sim stuff racing, and also the button box that is capable of working on PlayStation and on PC. Definitely a must-have if you're looking to upgrade your rig today for some fantastic prices. Look at Sim Stuff Racing, get hold of your Hun VDV on the number below, or even contact us through our SARCO page. Ladies and gentlemen, going to be coming back into the box with us is Dylan to have a bit of fun. Dylan, great racing out there. Had a lot of fun, really challenging, but the excitement was up towards the front where it was Folder and Jakes. Now, Jakes might have gotten second or third place. It was close towards the line, and we're going to have to see. But that means if it was first and second, Folder got first in the second heat and got second in the second heat. In the first heat. It is close racing between the two. Now, how would the points work when it comes down to that? If it's first, if Jake's got first in the first heat and second in the second heat, and Folder got second in the first heat and got first in got myself confused. Oh, yeah, first and second each heat. Points. I think, Yanniman, I think we just created some major problems because
I'm confused and I don't like being confused.
No. I think we just created problems because we just had Green Mamba tell other Green Mamba who is currently sitting with us, Jakes, welcome to the commentary box. Hearing that sort of news,
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely crazy. I mean, Jakes, yes, you can hear you. Jakes, you were on the money. Really good side-by-side action, pushing the whole way through. Second heat, not your heat. What happened? We just saw the Camaro starting to step out a lot more, and Marius giving you a massive run for your money come the second heat. Take us through it.
Yes, Stephen, thanks, man. Wow. That second heat, starting 6, made it much more difficult. I went good till I've ended up second behind Christopher, and then all of a sudden, I saw when I was second, I was about 3.5 seconds behind him, and I started to catch up on him, and I was about under a second behind him, and that's when the nerves started to kick in, and Marius was behind my butt, giving me pressure from behind. And man, I think that was silverback fever. But anyway, I just gave it too much gas on the first corner, and I spun out, and that gave Marius the opportunity to pass me. And then after that, I just couldn't get my mojo back, and I thought I must just keep the 4-second penalty gap closer than that, and take the second place. And that's all I could do, is just keep behind Marius, because I knew he had a 4-second penalty and ended up second. So yeah, that was my second race. First race, very chuffed. I had a good times with Christopher, and well done, buddy. 2 nice races for you, and nice, well done to you also, Marius. Nice to have you back, buddy.
Cool, man. It was awesome.
I've got to say, big welcome back to Silverback Racing. Marius, Bud, wow. Pulling out all the stops there, really giving it everything you got. How does it feel to be back in the hot seat and racing with the 2 drivers as fast as you can? It was incredible. How does it feel?
Man, it was white knuckle all the time, man. No, but it was awesome. It was just awesome. It's a pity I had a couple of slowdown penalties, so I had to slow down, and those guys were so fast ahead, I couldn't close the gap again.
It was
awesome.
Absolutely incredible to see it, and so close to racing, and the pressure that you're putting on. Glad to have you back. If this is at the start of the season, awesome. But the man that's got the news from the Green Mamba above me, who let his other Green Mamba know. So, Yanniman, it's not on us, eh? We're still friends.
No,
here.
we're in the clear.
We're still friends.
We had nothing to do with it.
We know nothing. But first place in the Ferrari for the Italian. The finesse of the Ferrari.
But a Napoli.
Exactly. Goes to Christopher. Chris, how are you feeling with that? This is Folder, ladies and gentlemen. Chris is Folder. How do you feel about that? Taking it to the top and getting a win for your team as well for Red Numbers. How do you feel? How is it?
One thing I can say is I've missed this, and that was absolutely incredible. Absolutely white knuckle racing from start to the end. It's if I had backed off for a split second, I wouldn't have won. And just from being demoted from green Mambas to red Mambas, I just had to show everybody that I'm back.
No, it's not. By the looks of it, it's not demotion. It's not a demotion at this point. As Yanema and I were busy discussing. We were discussing. You know, there's tons of venomous creatures out there, and it's tons. But it seems like the most potent poison at Donington was the red mamba.
Absolutely.
And the most pressure that you can get has to come from the silverback. Absolutely. Dylan, with the green number, you spend most of your time in your natural habitat of the grass. And through the comments, we got Tyron Myberg saying, Dill, what's that thing on your chin? And also loving the whole thing. Guys, absolutely incredible. Alpha tier, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause for the great racing. Yanneman, how do you feel about this?
Come tell us, Yanneman, how do you feel?
Well, yeah. I need to look forward now to Thursday, and now I'm not so sure anymore. Looking at the racing that went on tonight, I mean, between Christopher and Jakes in that first race, I can't believe you guys are running so closely and not even touching once. If you did, we missed it. Now I need to get with you guys on track on Thursday. How am I supposed to feel now?
Christopher won't be there, so less pressure for you.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Yes.
All right,
Marius will be
thank
there,
you so much.
the pressure is on.
I'm just checking here. There's 1.5 minutes left of the qualifying for the Bravo tier, so we're just going to jump across there. You should be able to hear me now. And sorry, guys.
Cheers, man.
It was my mistake. The sound wasn't coming through on the race, but
Cheers.
There
well done.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone.
Lekker.
Amazing racing from our Alpha. I am quite blown away with the excitement that came with the round one for the Alpha tier, and well, a busy race indeed from round for heat number 1 and heat 2. Gentlemen, now going into Bravo tier, how do you feel with the excitement build up, and a lot of the guys really excited from Facebook and YouTube that are the Bravo guys getting ready to have a bit of racing for it? How do you think this is all going to play out? Do you think we're going to see the Camaros dominate, or we're going to see the Ferraris take the win?
It's now a difficult one to say, because in the very first race we had the Camaro, second race we had the Ferrari. So let's see what happens in Bravo tier. I know there's also a couple of new guys. Nerves are there. That's also going to play a role. I know how it is to race the first time. You don't know how everything works, or you're not sure how everything works. You're not sure if you're doing stuff correctly. Then, the guys that have been there a while, there's a couple of surprises. I mean, you were talking to Johan earlier. He's now in the Bravo tier where he was in the Alpha tier earlier, or in the previous season. So that's how close the racing is in SARCO. I mean, you talked earlier that it's not to say it's the Bravo tier that they are slower. No, I think we're going to see in the front a lot similar times at what we saw in the Alpha tier. Maybe. What do you think?
I think it's going to be very, very close. Chatting to Ross a little bit earlier, we got a bit of an idea of doing 112s, which was actually the pace of the Alpha tier as well, being done in the Bravo tier. And we're going to get Dylan that's going to open up and show us on his screen as well. But, I mean, a couple of the teams that we got here, we've got Rough Riders with Brandon DeSantos, who was in the chat supporting, along with Terry Wilford, a real-life driver of the big, monstrous V8s. And he is having an absolute jewel out there. We got Project Wetcat, we got Ross, we've got Sarge, we got Ryan, the Sarge, going to be taking charge. He's part of Chasing Beavers. Sim Stuff Racing 1.2, and that is Rudy Bias and Johan VDV are going to be duking out. Rockstar has got Mel TTR. We've also got Team Easy Kill, which is Donovan. And Sim Stuff Racing 1.3. Wow, there's a lot of Sim Racing. I'm starting to get a little bit of a feeling here. We're about outmatched and outgunned. And
your fellow commentators also driving for them.
I know. As we get onto the line, ladies and gentlemen, it is all about who is going to get it off the line. Brandon DeSantos lying in third place. Terry up in second with the big V8. So Terry is like...
I think Terry's at home.
He's at home at this point. It's a massive 7-litre V8. It's plenty of power. It is close to his racing car. He's chilled with it. He's ready to rock and roll. And we've also got Rockstar behind there. Also, Sports Car Club has got a driver entered, and that's Michael Koenig, who's a little bit further down in the field. That race is underway, heading into turn one. Side-by-side action going to happen. Will Terry be able to try and power his way through? He is next to his teammate. Very, very close racing. And Camaro's absolutely dominating the front of the grid. Brandon Santos looking to try dive up on the inside, managing to get ahead of his teammate Terry, falling in behind, and it's all about keeping it all together, but you can see how hard they're pushing it. Skoltz is up in front in first place. He's trying to run away, and Rudy Byers also trying to make his way up, currently lying in sixth place and trying to power his way all up through the grid. Sly Pete, who one of our winners for the G29 shifters, is quite happy, and he's looking to power his way through to make an impact for the start of the season. Ross lying in fourth place, also trying to keep it going. We had a discussion with him a little bit earlier, saying that the tires start to wear out quite a bit on the Camaro, and he's going to try a little bit of lifting, posting to try and keep it all into check. Brandon DeSantos, though, hard on the charge for Scott Point. Yanaman, what do you think? How close is this? But where's Terry Wolford?
I was also looking at the same thing. Terry's down in 13th place all of a sudden.
Terry has lost the car and has thrown himself right down the field. Absolutely heartbreaking at this point, and he's got some drivers he needs to really try to get past at this point. So we got Skoltz in first place, Brandon in second place, Rockstar Mel in third, Ross in third, Rudy Byers in fifth, Sly Pete lying in sixth place, Ryan in seventh place, Donovan in eighth, ninth is Johan VDV, Nico right behind him, Michael lying in 11th place. So the guys are really working hard here. Dylan, give us a bit of insight now that everyone's starting to settle down in their positions a little bit. What do you need to work on? And saying that, we've got one car that's off in felt,
Ooh,
and one of the Ferraris. Absolutely heartbreaking to see out in the weeds. Now, everyone's starting to get a little bit more settled. What do you need to start working on with these cars? Johanna was having a chat in terms of trying to stable the car, get yourself into a good rhythm, and keep going. You were in the race where you were fighting tooth and nail. Now seeing these drivers in Bravo What do they need to work on? How are they going to gain a little bit more pace with the cars?
So funny you mentioned there's that when you start overdriving this car, the rear is just so aggressive that you got to be easing on that power at all times. The brakes are really sensitive. If you just touch the brakes, they start locking up. So the whole idea is to drive the car slowly, not lock up, get that power on nice and progressive, and that's when the guys will start making up the time. But as soon as you go a little bit too aggressive, you start locking up, miss those braking points. Ooh, you can see a little kick of the rear, and therefore Brandon DeSantos there, currently in 5th place. What happens? You overdrive, and when you overdrive, that's when mistakes come in. You touch the grass, and you end up finding yourself spinning out.
Now we also see that Ross, Rudy Byers, and Terry Wolford have got penalties on them. Where are the penalties coming from? Is it going too far into the pit lane, heading into turn number 1? That's starting to play into effect.
So there are actually a few places where you can get a time penalty. So first of all, going down the hill towards out of turn number 3 into the old hairpin, if you take too much of the inside curb into turn 4, there's time penalty there. You run a little bit too wide, there's a time penalty there. Also turn number 5 just before Starkey's Bridge, if you take too much of that apex, there's a time penalty there. The biggest one, however, is through the S's, and that is essentially turn number 9, which goes back onto the Wheatcroft Straight. You have to stay within the little red ballards. If you touch those if you touch those curbs, you get a time penalty. It is so tricky.
Donington really having to work here, and we can see a bit of damage on over there. Have the name of the driver, but a bit of damage to the front of the car. Terry Wolford trying to make up a bit of ground. He is absolutely moved up into 12th place and is now trying to go on the charge. Michael is down into 13th place and still keeping hard on the charge right behind Terry. So Michael's looking to put a bit of pressure on him. And now Michael Koenig comes from racing open wheelers in terms of the Formula V, and has done really, really well there, versus Terry Wolford, who is mainly in the V8. So, bit of a battle there between real-world drivers in SARCO. Rudy Byers having a ton of fun, though, but has got a time penalty on him. So he has to keep ahead of Brandon DeSantos by quite a bit to be able to maintain. And as you see there, pulling up a list, thank you, Dylan. Ross got 2-second penalty, followed by Rudy Byers, who's got 2 seconds. So, Brandon Santos needs to get within 2 seconds of both drivers to be able to get into 3rd place by the end. But it's going to be really, really hard as drivers are pushing, doing 113s, 112s. They're bouncing around that sort of time, which is incredibly quick. And, man, it is absolutely exciting to see how it goes. Donovan, you've been very quiet through this. Give us some of your thoughts.
Well, you mentioned earlier the damage that you saw on the vehicle, and just to the people watching, they must remember that's not just cosmetic. It actually influences the vehicle quite drastically. If you got suspension damage, some of these guys with damage on their vehicles, they might drive with a steering wheel that's actually not straight anymore. You can lose straight line speed, you can lose corner stability. So always in a race, you must try and keep it as clean as possible and limit damage absolutely to a minimum to not influence the performance of the car.
So just having a look at Insomnia 8-Bit. So he's actually one of our new drivers. That's Louis, getting stuck in here up against Michael Koenig and Dane. And just seeing Louis was able to go around the outside of Dane in that Mercedes-Benz, in that Ferrari, but a little mistake. And what I found is quite interesting is that the Ferrari handles and controls its speed so nicely through the corner, whereas once you get onto the straight and you just start revving up just into that 3rd, 4th gear, that's when the Corvette, the Camaro starts coming into its own.
And I've got to point out here, we talk about Insomnia. Does Insomnia have a little bit, does he have real-world experience in racing? No.
I don't think so. I think
because
one of the guys that was watching the stream is like, hell man, I want to get involved, and off he'll come. And I see we got a guest that's joined us in the commentary box, Dion van Heerden. How are you this evening, sir?
Hey, good on yourself, man.
Lekker. I hope you're enjoying this incredible vintage touring car action.
Yeah, I am. Just checking in what you guys are doing. I'm doing some practice for Thursday.
100%. That's going to be an absolute cracker as well.
Why did you make the server to be wet so we can't practice?
No, the server will be wet. Remember, it's random, so that will possibly be what will happen on the day. And that's just to make sure that all the guys, in terms of understanding their car, getting used to their car, it just brings everybody together.
Are you planning something?
Not at all.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is for our AC coming this Thursday for our Alpha and Bravo tier for our Japanese GT3. Catch it on Thursday. But I've got to say, the excitement comes right to Monday with the vintage because no traction control.
Yo, that was Rudy having a look on the inside of Pete. And Pete just manages to hang on to that position. So Sly Pete in the 5th place has got Rudy Bass, who was actually one of our invitation drivers who came and rode in the SARCO F400 kart. So it was really awesome to see Rudy. Had some issues with connection, so he hasn't been racing, but he is back. And really awesome to see him throwing it around and competing again.
Okay, well, hang on. We got a little bit of a change up here. First place Scholz has got a penalty, ladies and gentlemen, which allows Ross in 2nd place to get close.
4-second penalty.
4
4
seconds.
seconds. Oh my hat! Absolutely devastating for him. Brandon Dos Santos also trying to make up a bit of ground as well as he battles his way through. You can see Brandon. Oh.
Forcing his way through, but makes that move stick. I don't think that was anything untoward. Unfortunately, Ross a little bit slow on the power going through the chicane. And as Brandon loses the rear, will Ross be able to sneak up on the inside going into turn number 2? It looks like he has been able to make that move stick. So Ross will now move back up into 3rd place and Brandon in 4th.
Absolutely, and I'm loving the comments here on Facebook. Lots of support for Insomnia and for Johan BDV as well. So glad to see lots of love for our drivers in the Bravo tier. Brandon Dos Santos really pushing hard here. You can see he's just trying to keep it all together. Rudy Byers having a ton of fun as well. He's going on Pete Ferrari versus Camaro at this point as they push each other around the circuit. And definitely some hard work to try and keep these cars in check. The Camaro has got so much horsepower over the...
Oh, there's a place, that's Ross who's now down to 6th as Pete goes up into 4th, and we're on the bumper with Rudy as they head into turn number 5 through the chicane.
And you can see how close they are to one another. It looks like Rudy has got a little bit more drive though, needs to get into the toe, trying to go on the outside, but Sly Pete moving
just
across.
Squeezing him.
Absolutely amazing. Sly Pete, some very, very defensive driving right there. Does run a little bit wide. Rudy Bias does try hanging a little bit tighter. Unfortunately, you can't run too tight. You will lose a lot of time. And Sly Pete trying to utilize as much of the circuit as possible to run away from the Camaro. Camaro has got straight line speed, so it's all about just trying to stomp his way by. But Pete is just making sure that is not going to happen at all at this point. And right behind him, they got Ross chasing him down. So Ross is pushing as hard as he can to try to get into the mix. So 4th, 5th, and 6th now turning into an absolute cracker of a battle between them. And it's going to be interesting right down to the line. With only 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, it's still anyone's game at this point. It isn't over till the fat lady sings.
An I and a fat lady, and I and singing. But we're all, as we look across each of the different positions, there are just so many little battles going on. Here we've got Sarge chasing down Donovan, the two of them in the Ferraris. And we go down a little bit further, and there's a battle once again. And that is Michael Koenig versus Colin. Colin in the Ferrari, can see just allowing the Ferrari to go through. Michael really had to come off the pole there to avoid any contact there. But there are a lot more pressure happening up front, where we've got Rockstar Mal. We've always known him as TTR Mal. He is now Rockstar Mal, in the same stable as Gerard and Dirkie, and he's now starting to close up that gap between himself and Tyler Scott.
Oh, and one of the cars, that looks to be Brandon Santos, who just got himself.
I think that's Terry, because Brandon is still circulating there in third position. So unfortunately, that was Terry.
Terry, unfortunately, losing the back end and trying to get himself all reorganized. Michael Koenig has been racing with the Goodwood virtual race in the Shelby Cobra and the GT40. He doesn't seem to be enjoying the Camaro as much as those two. They're glad to see battles right the way through between real-life drivers, sim racers, and also sim racers from across borders coming and joining in right here in SARCO. Lovely to see the community growing. Rudy Byers trying to keep it all together. Sly Pete also doing everything he can. Brandon Dos Santos is throwing that Camaro around at this point and is really doing everything he can to try and catch up to these two. You can just see how hard.
So that could possibly be a slowdown penalty, but now what's going to happen is Sly Pete is right on his rear once again, and all he's doing is just slowing up Pete, which is allowing Ross to get ever so closer, so he can now start coming and making a nuisance of himself.
That's going to be very, very tight racing as they power their way through. Ross doing everything he can to try and keep himself going. He's lying in 6th place at the moment, going after Sly Pete, and it's going to be a tough one. He has to try and battle his way through. Sly Pete is the only one without a penalty between the three, so all he's got to do is just try to keep it together, but Ross is really having to throw the Camaro around to keep it all together. Gets into the toe, and now trying to make up that little bit of ground. Very, very close racing right the way through.
But I just wanted to jump back to the leaders. 0.3 of a second is the difference now. So Mal Jacques has been able to close up on Tyler Scott as they come through the back section of the track. So I must say now, going up here into Coppice, it is so tricky because you want to get the car turning. You can see that was a little bit too early there for Jacques. And what happens is that Camaro just tends to step out, and you can just hold a bit of a slide there. You can see that Jacques touching those brakes to not get that time penalty. So now I'm sure that he's going to want to just make sure that he's within the 4 seconds of Tyler Scott, and that will be able to give him that win.
Now, Yanniman, you've been unfortunate to have a time second penalty issued to you in the previous races. How does that mess with you mentally?
That's Ross on the inside into the chicane, and Pete will have to let him go. A great maneuver there by Ross, so he's back up into 5th as he runs a little bit wide. Will Pete be able to come back? No, he does not.
All right, awesome, great racing there. Yanniman, give us a little bit of insight in terms of the penalties.
Well, you know, there's a box that pops up, and it tells you that you need to slow down. Unfortunately, you yourself don't know how much you need to slow down. So what a lot of the guys tend to do is keeping the foot flat out on the accelerator. They just tend to tap the brakes a bit in order to make that little box go away, and until the game has decided you've slowed down enough. It messes with you because you're in the middle of a battle. You're trying to go as fast as possible, and then all of a sudden you need to slow down. If you don't slow down, that's where the time penalties come from.
A massive impact. As we take a look at Rudy Burst having a ton of fun going after Brandon Dos Santos. Now Rudy has got the time penalty and has to get ahead of Brandon Dos Santos and keep ahead, which turns into a very difficult task. But
that's 4 seconds.
And Ross with 6 seconds also behind him. So Ross is in a really at this point. Donovan having a good go to try and keep on going after Ryan, looking to go side by side. Managing fly past. So Ryan has got an issue here because Donovan made very quick work. Goes over the curbing though, And Sarge very, very slow in corners. And that's allowing Michael Koenig to catch up in the Camaro as well. So it's going to be a bit of a tight race between these three as well, which is 7th, 8th, and 9th place at this point. Michael Koenig has got a penalty on him. Sarge has a penalty, but Donovan hasn't got a penalty. He's keeping the power going. He's going to keep ahead of him. He has to just try and maintain the gap at this point.
Ryan, no.
Ryan marching offline. Adrian Bond saying, "Go, guys, go," out on YouTube. And they're giving it all they got to Mr. Bond as they power their way through. Annie
so guys,
Galloway.
we'll have one more lap after this. So will Rockstar Mel be able to get himself ahead of Tyler Scott? I understand that he's got that 4-second penalty, but I'm pretty sure that Jacques going to want to push to actually take the win. And I want to know, do you think he's going to get him?
Well, Divet Kilman says Guillaume Gas Jacques, so he definitely
Guillaume Gas.
Okay. I'm English. I do apologize, but he is absolutely supporting Jacques to go for it. And the support is going, so guys, show some love to the drivers. Let's see some strong arms going out there. Support your drivers right till the end. Who is going to be able to get it? And Sim Stuff Racing, Go Johan, comes from Annie as she cheers on Johan VDV and the Sim Stuff Racing team. It is all on the line, 27 seconds to go. You can see Rudy really pushing as hard as he can, trying to catch up to Brandon DeSantos. It is all on the line for every single one of these drivers. Remember, this is heat number 1. We've still got heat number 2, and it is all on the line for every single one of these drivers. Jacques has got one more lap to make or break it at this point. Let's see the cheers. I want to see you guys going mad in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. I love seeing all the love here. Come on, guys. Support the drivers. Jacques really in the tow, just trying to do everything he can. Scholz is running as fast as he can. We got a Ferrari in the kitty litter, unfortunately, as they stomp past. And it is all on the line. Scholz really battling it out here. Goes out wide. Jacques tries ducking in on the inside. Unfortunately, unable to do so. Will Rockstar be able to rock out for heat number 1 as they power their way through? Scholz really doing everything he can. He's holding on by an absolute...
Careful.
And
but Stephen, third race of the evening, first race of the Bravo tier, and we see absolute domination of the Camaro.
The Americans seem to make an impact.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, first place due to the penalty goes to Jacques, followed by Scholz. Then we got Brandon.
Guys, I was saying that's Tyler Scott. It's not. It's Robert Stoltz. Apologies, Tyler. Brandon DeSantos in third place, then Rudy Bass in fourth. A flick of the Camaro across the line for Ross. Donovan crosses the line in 7th place. We then have Michael Koenig as he comes out of a Coppice, followed by Ryan. So Ryan dropping down the order. It does look like Brandon will get that 3rd place. Rudy 4th, Sly Pete in 5th, then Ross, because those time penalties would have been affected there already. So Michael Koenig now crosses the line. Ryan is behind him. It all depends on how close Dane is. Will he be able to move himself up the order due to the time penalty? And we didn't see it.
Well, Yoko Naguri is saying it's one thing to catch up, but it's quite another to overtake. And that was definitely the case. Very, very close racing that we saw once again. The Bravo here really pulling out the stops here. Best lap was a 1:12.840. That was done by Scholz, and second was Rockstar Mel doing the best time of 1:12.898. So Scholz was faster, but by absolutely nothing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take it back to heat number 2, and we're going to take the top 6 cars, reverse them, send them on their way, and see what chaos ensues after this. Absolutely incredible. I am blown away by the Bravo tier, and one of my favorite tiers, not because I race with the Bravo tier, but I seem to see a lot more of the close racing action throughout the season through our Bravo tier, and I'm very glad they're not Porsches. But absolutely great to see. And now let's go through. Let's play a bit of devil's advocate. So,
Just give us a second here, Stephen. We just need to drop this. So guys, we are back. The guys have already done their thumbs up. They are going to be doing a formation lap, getting themselves into position. Remember, the top 6 do a full reverse grid. No, that doesn't make sense. The top 6 do a reverse grid. From 7th down to 16th, unfortunately, you stay where you are. And looking forward to this next race. Lots and lots of congratulations coming out to Rockstar Mal. Great drive there for him, and I must take my hat off to Robert. Absolutely a fantastic drive. See Brandon DeSantos saying that was tough. Man, oh man, Brandon, I know exactly what you are saying. I was in the heat of the moment there.
I've also went and decided to find out a little bit from the pits with SEC Michael Koenig, Sports Car Club of South Africa's Michael Koenig, saying, and I am a bit blown away by it. I'll read you the exact message. I had no practice in the car, never driven it ever on the game, and just switched on to have a go. So, lack of practice, and it shows.
So to all those kids out there, practice, practice, practice. You can't just make things up and expect that you're going to get it right.
A person that has gone and won multiple championships in real life motorsport in the Formula V, lots and lots of practice there, decides he doesn't need a practice for the, for this, and got handed by the guys that have been practicing the sim races and the real life races. So really a thing to take a look at. Even though that it is a sim or a game, you still need practice to make it perfect. You don't have to have the best gear in the world. You can race on a controller, as we've seen before, but it's all about just keeping practice so you know what you're dealing with as they head out onto the formation lap. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to hear from our commentators. Gentlemen, all in the cards, who do you think is going to get it?
It's a difficult one for me. And I'm gonna stick my hand up, and I'm gonna put my money with Brandon for this one. The reason for me saying this is lying in third. It's actually the best place to be because you finish third, you start third again. So I'm gonna say with Brandon DeSantos on this one.
All right, and let's go to a man that has got the fantastic merchandise, which is our SARCO hat, which you can purchase for only 150 Rand, and you can look spiffy on and off the circuit. Definitely a thing to look at, and I'm going to be getting hold of 3 of them because I want to look like a professional non-stop. Dylan, who do you think is going to get this?
So I must say, with Ross out at front, he's not going to have any traffic. I think he might be able to have a run for it. Rudy Bass was also pretty pacey. Let's just see whether he's able to get ahead of Sly Pete, because Sly Pete drove a absolute fantastic race, and who knows, anything can happen. But I'd say Ross is in a really, really good position here.
All right, and the race is on. Ross getting a fantastic start. Everyone else is caught sleeping at this point. what on earth happened there? But Ross has decided to leave the entire grid while they're waiting for that 6 o'clock alarm to go off. So, Eleanor, bad ball. You have to get them a cup of coffee. But very, very close racing as the guys have to try and run away. But Ross is off to a fantastic start. Rudy Bay is trying to get by. And Brandon Santos hard on the throttle, trying to get past Sly Pete at this point. And this is where it starts getting very, very difficult for him as they battle their way around. Rudy Bias is very, very quick, but to get past, Brandon Santos and Sly Pete, who are veteran drivers in the series, know how to keep the cars in check.
Ooh, Brandon getting that car very, very loose, and so is who's that? Robert. They are in 5th place. That car was very, very snappy as he got back onto that power, and that is coming out of Coppice. A crazy little corner there. As I mentioned before, that corner just seems to go on for hours and hours.
Absolutely, it's all about keeping in check. Johan VDV also trying to get a bit of pace here in the Ferrari. He's trying to keep it all together. Keeping ahead of Colin, not an easy thing to do. Going after Colin, and it's got Terry Wilford, who is on a charge, looking to try and make up positions from the previous race.
And I must say, you look at the size of the cars, and it's so crazy. When you're in that Camaro, Johan getting it very loose coming down the hill there on the brakes. So he's just going to be patient, otherwise the car's just going to spin around. But managing to rejoin once again is that it just feels like big
a little bit of Tokyo
Colin.
drift going on here.
But Colin was able to keep that in check. Still on the track, but now he's going to have Louis contending with him. Colin, you can see how that car is just stepping out. There he goes through Coppice now. And he'll have Terry and Louis behind him chasing down very hard.
Absolutely. Donovan first to get the penalty though, and now has to he's got to use extra work there. It looks like Ross starting to lose a little bit of time though. Sly Pete is starting to catch up, and so is Brandon as he looks to go on the charge. Rudy also keeping into the mix there, as every single one of these drivers are just giving it everything they got right until the end. I mean, this is all on the cards. You actually can't point who's going to win the race at this point, because they are just getting closer and closer. And I think Ross is starting to feel, he's starting to check him in the rearview mirror, and he's thinking, what do I have to do to try and pull away from these guys? Because all he's seeing is some very hungry drivers that are looking for the gold for heat number 2.
So I just wanted to show you, so if you look at those times, it's a 1:13.7, 1:13.3, 1:13.8, 1:13.8, 1:13.4, and that is the top 5 that we're currently watching. Sly Pete in the Ferrari is currently the fastest man on track, even though we've got Rudy, who has the fastest 3rd sector.
This is where it gets a little bit tricky. You can see him trying to do everything he can. Sly Pete's going very defensive. He's holding back Brandon Santos. He knows exactly the drivers behind him and has to try to figure it out. As we jump on board to Brandon Santos, losing a bit of time, tries to stick it on the inside line, has to brake very, very early. Really Bias is still managing to keep it all together. You can see how they're trying to keep these cars steady, but really managing to keep ahead of Brandon Santos. Brandon now trying to keep into the toe and pull himself along, goes to the outside, trying to carry as much momentum through the corner as possible. Has to lift off a little bit, as you can see them really working as hard as they can right behind. And this just allows Sly Pete to open up a little bit of a gap on them. Oh, really getting big sideways moments. And so does Brandon Santos, and right behind them, absolutely out of nowhere, is our dear friend, the one and only Rockstar. Sharks really pushing it hard, as fast as he can, trying to make up position. He's currently lying in 5th place and is doing everything he can to just keep it going, but big sideways action from our top 5.
Ferrari in the background there.
And quite unfortunate to see that Yanaman and Dylan give some input here. You trying to keep it
there goes
I
Brandon
think that was
DeSantos.
Brandon that went there.
and I was just about to ask, how do you keep it all in check with going sideways and defending? Brandon Santos showing that the pressure gets to him.
Yeah,
and,
you
definitely
tend to get a
hard
bit
work.
busy. I mean, it's you watching the rearview mirror, and each and every time you watch the rearview mirror, it's time you take your eyes off the track, and in a split second things can go wrong.
Absolutely, and it looks like Sarge was the one in the wall as he's in the pits. Looks like he's getting a bit of repair work done to the car. Very sad to see Ryan take a bit of a knock there, but this is the difficulty of the class. Because there's no ABS, there's no traction control, there's no power steering. It is all just focused on the driver and getting the technique right and lasting the time of not only just fighting the other drivers but also keeping the car in check. I'll take a look at Facebook. We got Yako saying Ross should concentrate on his race in front. Second, third and fourth has a nice battle going. That will keep them very busy. That is very true.
But unfortunately, that is not the case because we have a new leader, guys. And as I was watching it, I saw it happen. Rudy Bass is now out in front. Ross in second, and he's got Mal TTR behind him. Sorry, Rockstar Mal. Sorry, Jacques. Apologies. You've just been TTR Mal for I don't know how long. But I'll get it right. Jammer, meneer Kellerman.
You can see how hard they are pushing to get up. TTR, that was try hard. That's not try hard racing.
No. TTR was Turbo Turtle Racing. It was a team that was made up about 2 years ago, and that was Jacques and Duby.
That's now getting back into 2021. Jacques is absolutely pacing it. Rudy in first place, leading out.
Look at this.
Oh, massive battle. Sly Pete, Scolts, Insomnia, which is Louis, all duking it out with each other and really trying to keep it in check here. Absolutely incredible racing. And up in fifth place, oddly enough, is Michael Koenig, who started down in 11th.
He used his first race practice very well.
Yes. And
Good
just talk about it.
There goes. That's Louis. He's unfortunately caught the curb, put it on the dirt, and here he comes doing a little bit of
Rallycross.
landscaping.
Got a bit of rallycross in there for the Camaro. Silverback duking it out though, trying to keep Terry at bay. Look at Terry Wolford going on the dirt, but massive incident there. Terry Wolford collecting the back of us.
I think there was a bit of lag because you could see that all of a sudden Terry's car wasn't quite there, and the cars almost looked like they were in each other, and then it bounced off. So that's very unfortunate.
Bit of net coding. Unfortunately, sim racing does have net coding and can bite you at the worst time and can affect you. I mean, races are won and lost with netcode sometime.
So Silverback is one of the new drivers that's joined us. We know him as Raf, another driver that had been watching the stream and was like, no, I want to get involved, and here he is racing with us.
And got the iconic maroon red of Ferrari. Very, very beautiful color. And take a look at Jacques hooking it sideways, putting on the power and really giving everyone. Ross trying to keep on going as he's lying in third place, going after Rudy as much as possible. And he's also going after Jacques.
I'm sure Ross is kicking himself because this was definitely his race to lose.
Unfortunately. So Michael Koenig putting on the pressure now. He is trying to keep on going and gets into the toe of Sly Pete. Now Michael's getting a little bit of hang of the car, but I think little too late at this point. as he's got his work cut out for him. He has dropped down to 7th place, so he's lost out to Skulls and Sly Pete. He's got to try to keep it all together. He's really keeping the power on, looking to try and get ahead of Pete. Gets a little bit unsteady, really throwing the car around. That might be a negative impact for him. He's used to throwing the GT40 and the Shelby Cobra around. It isn't going to work here with the Camaro, because you've got to show the Camaro a little bit of respect, I think, going around the circuit. It isn't just brute force your way around it. You've got to show the car a little bit of respect to get it to do what you want it to. Otherwise, it's going to bite you incredibly hard.
Ooh, the time penalty there for Rudy. I just saw it come up on the feed. Oh, there's a car parked on the side of the track there. But this time penalty is 2 seconds for Rudy. So Jacques can just stay where he is once again and take the win from there.
I think at this point, Jacques is looking for bragging rights. He doesn't want to come second place, first place twice in a row, and is giving it everything he's got for the Rockstars, and lots of people are loving him in the comments as well. So it's all to go for the Rockstar. Rudy trying to open up a bit of a gap at this point, trying to pull away from Jacques, but Jacques has got the better drive in the toe, looks to try go on the inside, unfortunately not close enough to do so. And you can see really pushing each other along here.
Yeah.
As Jacques is doing everything he can. Rudy goes out wide. Jacques dives up on the inside. Unfortunately, hasn't got the momentum to keep it going. But literally, they are going neck and neck at each other right until the last minutes of the race. We've got only 5 minutes and 45 seconds of this incredible race left. And it's still anyone's guess. Because if Jacques loses it, for whatever reason, Ross will be right up there as fast as he can. And I mean, the pressure comes in.
Looks like Rudy had to just touch it all slow down there.
Oh, and that just changes it up. So Jacques into that first place has got to try and power his way through. Ross is starting to catch up though. He's in third place. If he can make up about 2 seconds, and I know it's easier said than done, but he will manage to take a second place, which will soften the blow as he gets into it. Michael Koenig going after Sly Pete as fast as possible. Rudy's got 4 seconds on him. Oh,
so currently Ross is in second place, looking at those times.
Tentatively, yes. And Michael Koenig still going after Sly Pete, trying to keep it all together. Pete keeping it all in check. As I say, that gets a bit sideways. Michael having to back off Pete. Oh.
And you can see that's Pete running wide at the old hairpin, touching the curb on the outside, which means that you have to slow down, or else you do get that time penalty. But if you've touched the dirt, the last thing you want to be doing is accelerating, because that just is an absolute recipe for nightmare.
Absolutely. Rear wheel drive plus dirt equals sideways action from here to Kingdom Come. But this is now not any breathing room for Michael, as Sly Pete is immediately onto the back of him. Really going after Jacques as fast as possible. And
Ross losing it there.
Oh, sideways action. And Brandon Santos looking to capitalize on the moment as well. Dives past. So Brandon Santos taking third place away from Ross. Ross is not only kicking himself at this point, he is testing how the brake pedal on his steering, how reinforced it is, I think, at this point. I think he's that rig is taking
one thing I've experienced personally, both the Camaro and the Ferrari, if you get them on the grass, they sometimes a nightmare to get back on the track. They just want to go around in circles.
And that is it. Yako saying Jacques has done well from 6th to 1st, keeping it cool. That is very, very true. But the race is not over just as yet. We just saw anything can happen. And unfortunately, Ross was on the receiving end of that. Brandon Santos trying to catch up and make a bit of ground. He's 8.6 seconds behind. and that's going to be a bit of a battle to do so. With only 2 minutes left of the race, I don't think he's going to get within the gap to try and make up. But Rudy in first place, Jacques in second place. So Rudy's retaken first place away from Jacques. Jacques is still within the time to catch up and get into first place. But it's bragging rights. You want to see that checkered flag. You don't want to just go across the line, second place, beat you by the penalty. No. You want to beat them outright and have the bragging rights when it comes to do it. You can see how hard he's having to push. Brandon dos Santos doing everything he can. Michael up into 6th. He's gotten past Sly Pete. Now looking to go after Scholz and Ross at the same time. So that is turning into quite a battle down there. Terry in 8th place, but has got a time penalty. But nice to see him make his way up through the grid. With only 1 minute and 48 seconds.
2 laps left.
Guys, now I want to ask a question. I know penalty comes into it, but penalty aside, do you think Jacques has enough gas in the tank to get past? And
sorry, the slight Pete trying to go around the outside of Michael Koenig, not enough room. He has to let him go through, but that is just showing the fighting spirit there of Sly Pete, doing whatever he possibly can conjure up to get himself ahead of Michael Koenig.
Definitely great racing there. But who do you think is going to get it? Will it be Jacques or will it be Rudy that's going to see the checkered flag first?
Well, one more lap. I think Jacques probably just going to ease into it. He doesn't need to do anything silly, because if he does, he can possibly spin himself off. And I honestly think he'll, as Yaku said, Rockstar Mal, well done, from 6th to 1st, cool heads prevail, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Alright, and Yanaman, what do you...
No, I totally agree with Dylan. You know, you in that part of the race now where you see what, or calculate what needs to be done to score the position. This part of any race is horrible for me personally, because you know there's still so much that can go wrong, and so you try and limit any of that. If you don't need to pass the person in front of you to gain the position because he has a penalty, I would personally rather play it safe.
Okay, and let's go a little bit back between Sly Pete and Michael Koenig. We saw Sly Pete going and flashing, trying to get past Michael Koenig, as he's got a little bit more pace, but Michael is very, very wide with that Camaro. Ferrari versus Camaro, who do you think is going to get this?
I think the Camaro's got it.
Yeah, Pete just hasn't been able, because you can see he's making a few mistakes. If he was able to get that car turned in, touch that apex, he would be able to get the better drive, but because he's gone wider, he's had to slow down. He's lost all the momentum, and you need to keep the momentum going in the Ferrari, where the Camaro you're able just to put your foot down and get the power out.
Well, checkered flag is waiting, and it looks like Jacques taking first place, but by penalty. That's Rudy into second place, Brandon dos Santos into third, and Ross finishing up in fourth place, followed by Scholz comes across the line. Michael Koenig and Sly Pete still duking out between each other, but it looks like Michael Koenig getting ahead of Sly Pete for heat number 2. Absolutely amazing racing between these two drivers. There we go, nice shot, Camaro versus Ferrari. What a race, ladies and gentlemen, for our Bravo tier. Terry Wolford coming across the line in true spectacular fashion. Here comes Insomnia Louis for his first time racing with us. Glad to have him here. Can't wait to see. Keep an eye. I think we got a champion in the making there. Donovan coming across the line.
Ooh. So that was because of that time penalty. We actually saw that it was Raf that was able to move himself a little bit further up, which means that we can definitely get Jacques, Rudy, and Brandon into the commentary box, so I'll just jump into the game chat and give them a little heads up.
Absolutely amazing racing from every single one of these drivers. Hats off to them. Great racing. Yanaman.
I think we've got an awesome season ahead of us. I think at this stage, I know it's still the first race of the season, but I think it's going to be a close championship all the way through all the 8 rounds or 7 left that lies ahead of us.
That is absolutely correct. I mean, Alpha tier, Bravo tier, great race. Very, very close. Lots of little races all over, and lots of little rivalries starting to be had between Alpha and Bravo tier, between the drivers as well, which is rather exciting to see.
Yes, because as I said to you earlier, it's the first race of the season, so that rivalry is not really there yet. Because as I said to you earlier, you don't know who you're racing closely with. But I think after tonight, we're going to see the rivalry heat up a bit before the next round next Monday.
That's for sure, and I think some practice is definitely needed, Michael. I am allowed to have a stab at my brother. But great racing between everyone. I am absolutely thrilled. The vintage racing has always been one to pull out all the stops, make it absolutely exciting, and has been one to watch out for in the SARCO series. And it gets me excited for ACC on Thursday, Assetto Corsa Competizione for the Japanese GT3s, because the build-up now starts for their race number 1, but we are starting to get everyone coming in and joining us in our little commentary box. And oh man, I am surrounded by Sim Stuff Racing. Just into it. Rudy, well done. Great racing. But the penalty not coming into your favor there, but great side-by-side action. Are your knuckles gone white yet? Because, wow.
That was a great race. It was hard. Really enjoyed it though. Absolutely love being back. Yeah, I'm very happy about it. Looking forward to the rest of the racing coming.
That's
Yeah, no, finally all my problems are solved.
saw you in the comments, and now you're back. Great to have you around. And I have to go to our next person. One.
Hi guys. I'm kidding you.
How are the fingers feeling?
Don't ask.
Brandon, you're jumping in and out of the comment section while you got the racing happening. Keeping an eye on there. How was the race for you? And what an upset! Heat number 2. Did you expect to make up that position?
No, I actually wasn't, because I saw my times and Ross' times were pretty much the same, and I wasn't making any grounds. Then out of nowhere, I saw him parked off to the side. So I kept my head down and I just kept trying to lap consistent.
So got a massive smile on your face for that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was actually a bit tough, especially in the beginning. I was trying to push quite hard to keep up with Rudy, but yeah, I couldn't. So after about 4 or 5 laps, I decided and I just keep consistent.
And now for a person that got a lot of support in through the chat, second to Johan VV, had Morris Borthma, had Devet going and asking as well, saying good luck. And that is the one, the only, Jacques, how do you feel, bud? Going one for... Going to be partying like a rock star now. But how do you feel about that first heat, taking first in the first heat and first in the second heat? How does it feel, bud?
No, it feels like it, but it's a pity that Robert and Rudy got that 4-second each penalty. So I was just sitting behind them. But yeah, other than that, I think it was a lekker race. I must say, I enjoyed it. I just kept at the back and just stayed within that 4 seconds of them. So, but I enjoyed it. Must say, it's lekker to be back. First win in a long time. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I have to point out something. You said that you just took it easy, hang in the back. I'm calling you out there and then. We saw the racing. We saw how tight it was. Red mist was showing, buddy. You and Rudy were not holding back on each other there. It was knives, guns, everything was coming out at each other. There was no holding back there. I mean, it was great racing between the two of you.
I must say, I'm sweating. My heart is almost...
if that was taking it easy, I don't know what we're going to see if you really go at it.
No, that was a proper racing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give him a massive round of applause. Bravo tier, first, second, and third for round number 1 at Donington. I cannot wait to see what you guys are going to pull out going into round number 2 next week, Monday. And we're going to be changing it up a little bit as well. And let's see who's going to get on top. Tomorrow, Ferrari, Rudy, Jacques, or Brandon DeSantis. Robert's also coming into play. Guys, massive congratulations from my part. Dylan, do you have anything to say to the drivers?
Yeah, guys, absolutely fantastic. It's good to have everybody back racing. This is exactly why we do it, is to, specifically for myself, get involved in the racing, but then also put on a show and let people see what we're all about. So racing like that is exactly what we want. So thank you very much, guys. Awesome to have you.
And Yanaman, I mean, this is your tier, buddy. You got to have something to say, yeah?
Well, looking forward to next week. Next week, the Texas Motor Road Course. I think we're going to see some awesome close racing again.
So we know that the Camaro will be fast on the oval section, but coming onto the inside, the Ferrari is going to come into its own.
Yeah, so it's going to be certain sections of the track is going to suit certain cars, so that's going to mix it up completely.
Well, thank you very much, Bravo Tier. Go and have the champagne. Go have a glass of water or a bottle of Coke as well. And enjoy your celebrations for the top 3. And let's have a chat, guys. I mean, absolutely incredible racing we saw from Alpha and Bravo. Close racing. And I got to say, I'm really excited to see what's going to come out for the season. The guys were very, very close to each other for the races. The Ferrari and the Camaro, very, very competitive against one another. And the guys seem to be enjoying the nice mix of cars for the Vintage Series. How do you guys think this is going to go towards the end? Do you think Ferrari's going to pull out of nowhere and really stomp the ground? Or do you think the All-American muscle is going to be the one to watch out for the season?
So what I'm hoping is that we saw, specifically in Alpha Tier, that there were Ferraris mixed in. We saw the capabilities of the Ferrari, albeit in the hands of Christopher Radloff, our foldover. Our red mamba is that we know that he is considered the alien, but you're able to compete. And I just hope that as the guys get more and more into the car, understanding how to use it, that we'll start seeing more and more Ferraris up in the top parts of the ranks.
Absolutely. Yanaman, your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, as Dylan said, it's very early in the season still. And, you know, somebody unexpected can still get used to their car and figure it out and become very quickly. Almost stumbled there over my words. So it's still anybody's season. You know, what I want to say is the guy that finished last tonight can still win this championship. He can get that car right. You can dial it in, not that you can do a setup here, and that's actually the beauty of this series. There's no setups, that kind of thing. There's no technical side. It's a driver's series. So if you can get that car right, make it fast to suit your driving style, it's still anybody's game.
100%.
Absolutely. That is the one to watch out. And guys, it is for a season. Thank you very much for joining us right here at SARCO. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube page. Hit that bell notification icon when we go live with the great racing. We've got ACC on Thursday. Also hit up our Facebook page. Follow our page. See all the action that goes on. Or if you want to join the racing, come find us on our actual web page. Join our Discord. See all the chaos. Be part of the action. This is a community that's all about fun and great action. Big thank you to our sponsor, Sim Stuff for Racing. And also, if you guys are interested in getting some merchandise and supporting the SARCO team, take a look at our SARCO hat, 150 Rand, and beautiful styling there. You can look dapper on and off the track. And from my side, good evening, Queernan and Borna Nutter. I'll see you guys next time. My name is Stephen Koenig, and we'll see you guys for the great racing coming Thursday. Enjoy, drive safe, keep safe, have fun, and we'll see you next time right here at SARCO.
Cheers, Yos.
Cheers, everyone. Enjoy the evening.